This is Joshua Blackwelder. I play Timmy the Skateboarder. Tonight we're here with Rich Vernadeau to discuss the characters of Crazy Insane Radio. Can you tell us about Sharon Cielo?
Yes. Sharon Cielo was a young, aspiring model from Murgatroyd whose face was injured or scarred by the acid-tainted Vincini face cream that Judy Vincini, the corporate CEO, owner, magnate of Vincini Cosmetics, herself had done, and there were Senate hearings about this, and that was covered in the first season. Well, Sharon attempted to be part of a class action lawsuit. It didn't turn out the way. She wasn't awarded a very large settlement, so she went out for revenge after Judy Vincini, actually kidnapping her and holding her hostage for a period of time. Then, as fate would have it, Judy's rescued by her son, the Murgatroyd serial killer, Eric Niedermeyer. Sharon Cielo hooks up with Blatson the artist. They fly to Europe, to France to be exact, where they stay at the castle of Count Pedestrian. And then it turns out that Sharon ends up being held hostage there inside the castle, chained in the dungeon below, shackled to the wall by her former victim, Judy Vincini. So she herself becomes a hostage of Judy Vincini for a time. She, of course, ends up seducing Caprice, the butler, sleeps with him, escapes, stealing Eric's euros, goes around Paris, France, celebrating and partying, and she hooks up with LaChance, a young, good-looking, handsome prodigy art critic who happened to be a friend of Blatson the artist, who got slain. He got killed by the Murgatroyd serial killer. In fact, he was mutilated atop the Eiffel Tower. And Sharon Cielo has undergone some interesting changes since she met LaChance, and that's going on right now in Crazy Insane Radio, the series.
Okay, can you tell us about LaChance?
Oh boy, can I tell you about LaChance. Well, he has this forever youthful appearance, and there's a reason for this. For one thing, he's more than 500 years old. He was around back in the 1500s, and some of the same people, shall we say, were incarnated back in that time period. And there was an interesting plague going on in France at the time, and LaChance was attempting to fight it. And whether or not he was successful is something that will be revealed in various episodes. But I'll give you a very important clue. If you watch the last couple of seasons and the current season, you will find out a little bit more about LaChance and what his secret of eternal youth is.
Can you tell us about Count, or is it King Pedestrian?
Yes, actually, it is both. He started out as Count Pedestrian, of course, but he's a megalomaniac. He's power-hungry. He wants to dominate and control the world. He is of aristocratic and noble descent. He's descended from earlier counts, Count Pedestrian 1 and 2. Count Pedestrian III, of course, in the future becomes King Pedestrian, and he's attempting to dominate and rule the world, which has become a world in conflict, a world at war in which humanity is at war with the paper dolls. And the paper doll race has proliferated and begun to dominate parts of the earth. And, of course, King Pedestrian sees the paper doll race as a threat to his dominion over the earth. He wants to wipe out and exterminate them. And the paper dolls, of course, have very little use for humanity, which has shown them very little, shall we say, sympathy over various years and various events in the series. And so there's this major conflict taking place in the future, in the late 2040s, whenever our Count Pedestrian has succeeded in becoming king of the earth, King Pedestrian.
All right. Can you talk a little about the character that I play, Timmy the Skateboarder, and what happened to him?
Yes, I can. Timmy was introduced in Season 1. He and some of his skateboarder friends were a champion of Flashy the Paper Doll, who was being attacked at the time from all sides, by the mayor, by senator. Everybody was out to get her. They championed Flashy's cause. He basically is a good guy. He is a good character. He traveled back through the energy time flux field and warned Flashy and Woody the Woodboy that there were these people who were religious fanatics in the village nearby who were going to come and burn the Indian tribe to death, including Flashy and Woody. So he rescued them from being destroyed. Flashy travels through time. Of course, so does Woody. Timmy the Skateboarder has traveled through time many different times. He's landed in the future at one point, and I don't want to reveal too much about what he does, but he has had his conflicts with King Pedestrian. He's had his conflicts with Senator Devane, and he has traveled to 2051. He's traveled to 2071. Then he's traveled back into the 1950s at one point. So Timmy's gotten around in time quite a bit. But at a certain point in our present time, when he had come back to Murgatroyd, something happens where he ends up in the biotech lab, and shall we say, he gets enhanced. So he's a new and improved Timmy. And the new and improved Timmy, of course, again, leaves Murgatroyd through the energy time flux field and lands back in the future again.
All right. Now tell us about the new spin-off series, The Future Hope Saga.
Okay. In the year 2049, when King Pedestrian is waging Armageddon-type apocalyptic war in which the world itself hovers on the edge of destruction, a brave team of people led by Major Quint and Dr. Getrick, the grandson of the original Dr. Getrick from earlier in the series, Dr. Reed Summer, who has herself traveled from our present time into the future and landed in 2049, along with all of these 200 people that were chosen, have boarded a vessel and left Earth. They're using the time energy flux device as a propulsion unit to travel both through time and space. Now, they end up traveling about 12 light years out from Earth, and at this point, another energy time flux field brings the new and enhanced cybernetic Timmy the Skateboarder there to the Future Hope, so he's now on board the vessel, and they are orbiting an ice planet on which, of all things, they find Flashy, the paper doll, frozen in the ice. And so currently in the Future Hope saga and in Crazy Insane Radio, we are exploring how did she get there. They have her on the ship towing her out, and that's currently where we're at in the series.
All right. Well, we thank you, Rich Vernadeau, and this was Joshua Blackwelder as Timmy the Skateboarder for Crazy Insane Radio.